and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. Today Nutmeg are out here because we have some fall planning to do. I have already started a few seeds, but I also ordered some and they just arrived, so I figured we would open them out here together. And I'm gonna have to put Nutmeg down for that, sorry buddy. But let's go ahead and open them. I started, while I'm opening this, I'll let y'all know. I started some peppers, I started some leeks, and some tomatoes. I did buy some fall tomatoes that I put in the ground, but I also started some from seed. So I have 2 orders from Baker Creek Seeds. This is new, a little thank you card. So that's really cute. I haven't gotten one of those before. So in both of these, I'm going to be getting a free seed, which is cool. If you spend, I think, more than 10 or 12 bucks, you get a free seed. So I made 2 orders because I ordered stuff and then I was like, wait, I want more. So the first thing I got was this broccoli. I'm pretty excited about that. Last year, my broccoli was an epic fail, but hopefully we do better this year growing it from seed. I'm actually gonna go ahead and probably get this started today so that we can kind of hit the timing right in terms of getting that cool window to get a nice, firm, compact head of broccoli. So the next one that I got is gonna be this beet. These look really cool. They remind me of peppermint or candy canes. I love beets, my husband doesn't, so I haven't been able to grow them for the longest time, but I finally convinced him, since we have so much space out here, to just let me grow some beets. So I got a pack of seeds for that, and I probably won't be growing that many just because it'll only be me eating them, but I'm really excited to grow them nonetheless. The next thing that I got was this cute little bok choy, and these are supposed to be like a really compact, almost like a baby bok choy. I don't think they get too big. And the nice thing about bok choy is that it handles the cold weather super well. It can handle a light freeze, and you can cut and come again, like it just keeps growing, or you can harvest the entire head. So I'm very excited about that one. My bok choy did so well last year, so we're gonna plant a lot more. The last one actually that I paid for in this container was the Brussels sprouts. I have never grown Brussels sprouts before, and I didn't have the best luck with broccoli or cauliflower, so we'll see how this does. These take a long time to mature. I think it's about 120 days. So I'm gonna get these seeds planted soon, and hopefully we will hit the right window for the cold here in Texas. Now the free seed that they gave me, this is really pretty. It's a flower, a Matsumo mixed aster. I've heard of asters before, but let's kind of just see what it says. So it says 100 days, annual, vivid mix of double flowered asters with impressive disease tolerance. The sturdy stems reach 24 to 30 inches in length, 2-inch diameter flowers with fluffy petals and yellow centers, tolerant to fusarium. Cool. So I am going to be starting a pollinator garden probably next spring, hopefully this fall, but realistically probably in the spring. So I will definitely plant these once I have room for more flowers. Now the next package, look at this. This is so cute. I love their packaging. That's just adorable. So this is the second package. They also have a cute little thank you note in here. So that's nice. Let's kind of open this up, see what's inside. So the first thing that I got in this package is going to be a zucchini squash. This is an Italian variety from Palermo. I really liked the light green color. I kind of liked what I was reading about it in terms of the early days to maturity. Because I have such a problem with squash vine borers, I really need plants that are going to produce quickly because I might have to get them out and get new ones in the ground. Okay, so the next one I got is the kohlrabi, and I've only ever seen green kohlrabi available in garden centers around me, so I thought it would be really fun to grow it from seed. Also, the only brassica I've ever really grown from seed is, let me think. I might have grown kale from seed too, but it would be beets, really. So it'll be really interesting to see because this is bulb, kind of how it forms from a little seedling. So I'm pretty excited about that. The next one in the packet that I got is going to be this Chinese white celery. I was reading up about all the different celeries that they offered on their website, and this one was the most intriguing to me. They do take a long time to mature, but what I've read with these plants is you really want to just cut and come again, because if you've ever bought celery at the grocery store, you know that you never really use the entire thing that you buy. So instead of just harvesting the whole thing, my plan is to just let it keep growing and only harvest what I need at a time. So I'm hoping I get a really nice big plant, maybe 2 out of this. Okay, the last one in this pack that I paid for is this Brunswick cabbage. It was really hard for me to decide on a cabbage that I wanted because there are different types, you know, smaller heads, bigger heads, long-term storage, short-term storage, good for kimchi, things like that. So, or not kimchi, sauerkraut, excuse me. So this is the one I ended up settling on. I hope it goes well. I have never attempted to grow cabbage in my life, but I have the space for it here. As you can see, I've got some pretty big raised beds, so hopefully this will go well. And the last one that I got is something I have never heard of. This is a free seed. It is a Komatsuna Old Tokyo. It honestly reminds me of collard greens. Let me see what it says. A traditional komatsuna from Tokyo, Japan. This is dense in nutrition and so refined in flavor. Komatsuna is known as spinach mustard. Can be used cooked or raw and have a mild spinach flavor. So that's really interesting. This works really well with fall garden planting, so I will definitely try out a couple seeds of this and see how it does. All right, so over here is where I have my brand new seedling table. If I can get this up, I'll show you what I've got started, and then hopefully I'll be able to get some of those new things that I just unboxed soon. So I have a really pretty yellow milkweed in here that I just haven't found a home for yet. And then this is kind of my makeshift setup until I get some nicer trays. But I started some King Richard leeks, a few smaller peppers. So what you want to do if you are going to grow peppers before the fall season is look about how many days you have left until your last frost. I have about 85 to 90, which is plenty of time. But even with that risk, I'm growing smaller peppers. You're going to want to do this for tomatoes as well. But I'm growing smaller peppers because it'll take less days for you to get ripe fruit. I also have some tomatoes. I'm going to grow black strawberry, cherry tomato, pink bumblebee, and super sweet 100. These will also have less days to maturity than a beefsteak, so that's why I'm growing them just with fall approaching. I also planted some flower seeds. I planted borage, nasturtiums. These should be different colors, and then the borage is blue. It's also from Baker Creek Seeds. I did grow some this spring, but it really couldn't handle the heat. So I'm hoping maybe I can get some for fall, and it is supposed to be self-seeding. So hopefully if I can get an established plant this fall, it'll automatically just give me new plants in the spring. Nutmeg also absolutely loves the seedling table. This is his new favorite spot, and I really like being able to have this shelf for some organization with my fertilizers, my pots, some odds and ends here, some tags, some ties, things like that. But he usually hangs out under here quite a bit. It provides him some shade when it's hot out because he still likes to be out here with me, but I don't want him to overheat. So just a little bit about my boy. It might be hard to tell, but over here I did also plant some fall peppers. So these are new seedlings that I bought at a nursery and recently put into the ground. The first one is this jalapeno here. This is a mucho nacho jalapeno, which is an older variety that I honestly really love, but it has been very hard to find. So that is the first one that I planted in here. The next one is just a shishito that I planted here. This was an empty spot that I had left over from when I pulled up the leeks, which, by the way, you can leave leeks in the ground throughout the winter. They can tolerate hard freezes even. They do so well here. So that is definitely something I will be adding more of in this bed in the fall. And then over here, I was kind of running out of room, obviously, in that other bed. So I planted some candy cane peppers, and I just love them. Even if they never produce peppers, which these probably will, I just love growing them for the foliage. They're absolutely beautiful plants, but I'm hoping this fall they will produce for me. So those are some fresh new plants that I got in the ground, and they won't be sort of haggard by the warm summer that we had. I also wanted to give a quick mention to some fall tomatoes that I bought from Seedlings. This one is a sun sugar tomato. Like I said earlier, all of the fall tomatoes I am growing are going to be cherry tomatoes. I am going to leave my beefsteaks and my other cherry tomatoes there in the ground, but you're just gonna get higher yields if you grow cherry tomatoes in the fall. So this is my sun sugar. It is obviously producing quite a bit right now because it gets a lot of shade from this basil plant. I also have a super sweet 100 tomato here, which is actually growing really well. I think it also gets some shade from the basil later in the day. And then this is a black cherry tomato. It's looking pretty good. It's just not growing as fast as the other two because I think it does get full sun all day. But the weather is finally supposed to break in the next week, so that should give it the break that it needs to kind of grow up the string trellis that I built for it. Finally, the last sort of staple fall plants that I'm going to be growing are beans, and depending on the varieties that you're looking at, you're going to want to plant them at different times. So for the soybeans that I just started last week, they produce all of the beans at once and then the plant is done. And it usually takes about 50 to 60 days. So these are a really nice plant to grow if you don't have too much time left. They will just produce everything and then you don't have to worry about the plant. The bush beans here have not been as tolerant of the heat. They also take about 50 to 55 days. They are another nice plant to grow in the fall. I did start some in a different bed. This one I'm focusing more on the edamame. And then because I still have a lot of time, I planted a couple more of these Chinese green noodle beans. I think I had 3 that came up, which I'm really happy with. I only planted 3 or 4, so that's a pretty good success rate. And these do take a bit longer because, as you can see, they have to attach to a trellis and feel secure in order to produce the beans. So these take about 80 days. So this was kind of the last planting that I'm able to get in before a frost because beans are not frost hardy. So I have to really be mindful of that before I plant them. All right, so I hope you find this video helpful today. One last tip that I want to leave you with is that there are so many summer veggies that you will still have time to grow in your garden. Just pay attention to the days to maturity. You can grow cucumbers, small melons, carrots, parsnips, so many different things. There are so many plants that are also frost hardy, tolerant of light frost, some that are even tolerant of hard frost like kale and other brassicas. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give us a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from me and Nutmeg out here in the garden. Thanks again for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. What are you doing? What are you doing over here? You're a good boy. You're a good cat.